Hey guys, how's it going? I'm here to do a review on Boku no Hero Academia episode 8. Now, I know you guys want me to talk about the greatness that happened right at the end of the episode with the villains coming in, but I'm just gonna hold it back. Let's try and hold down the suspense. Let's try to hold down the suspense and talk about all the other awesome stuff that happened in this episode. Now, in comparison to the episode last week, this episode's pretty chilled. Pardon me, it's a pretty chilled out episode, just an aftermath of what happened from Deku and Bakugou's fight. So we're seeing the perspective of the feelings from both oppositions, from Bakugou's perspective and from Deku. So it's pretty cool to see that. And this is an important part in this series for the anime and manga in general, Boku no Hero series in general, especially for the anime onlys who haven't read the manga. And this is because it shows a new light to Bakugou's character, but also gives characterization towards Bakugou, because I know a lot of anime onlys that started Boku no Hero, they hated Bakugou, because one, not necessarily hate, but they thought of Bakugou being just like a bully and just being someone he's just an unlikable character. But with this episode seeing it shows much depth, it shows much more depth to his character, showing that he's not just a guy who's just like just salty against Deku, and he's pretty much not just a bully. He's got more depth to him. He has drive. He wants to be the #1 hero, and we're seeing how frustrated he was at his own powerlessness throughout this episode when he was seeing other people in the other training matches against and the other characters. So it was really awesome to see that, and I really hope some of the anime onlys who primarily thought that Bakugou was a bad character, maybe they've been kind of turned a bit from in this episode, hopefully. I'd like that to happen, because Bakugou generally is one of my favorite characters. He's definitely one of my favorite ones. So yeah, I really did enjoy this episode. In this episode we actually got a lot more exposition on characters. This pretty much was focused on school life. We got a lot more introductions to the characters, just showing a lot more interactions between them, like between Ida, Uraraka, Deku, and it kind of widened out the scope of the characters that we're going to be familiar with. So from anime only a perspective, and just in general, from this episode, we're going to know that it's going to be a wide scope of characters in the Boku no Hero universe. It's not just going to be, just centered on like 4 or like 3 characters. Nah. We're getting the whole class. We're going to get like loads of people in it. So I'm really excited just to see more of these characters get fleshed out in the anime. Like this episode was awesome because we got introduced to Todoroki, who's what his quirk's called is it half hot, half cold, I believe. Or hot and cold or something like that, I can't remember, but basically his quirk, he can shoot fire from one side and ice from the other. So that is a very OP quirk. And we learned about the entrance, some of the entrance criteria, how to actually get into the UA school. Now, obviously in the previous episodes we found out like, their entrance is extremely strict, maybe like 3 in every 100 or like 1 in 300 people only manage to go, or something like that. I can't remember specifically, but there's always some recommendations where they just get straight in. Now there was 4 for this. I'm not sure if it's just for this class or is it just for the year, but there's 4 recommendations where they've actually recommended for them to go in, and we found out 2 in this episode. Now, one is Todoroki, and he's the fire nice guy, and then the other one is Yayorozu, which is Momo, and she's pretty cool there. We didn't actually see much of her quirk in this episode. We just got to see more of her intelligence and that. And her intelligence seems like to rival Deku's and Ida's as well. So she seems like a very smart character. She seems like she'll be very strategic and analytic in the future as well. So I'm really excited to see how that pans out as well. Now, what I loved about this episode, other than Bakugou and Bakugou and Deku with the whole character development on those 2 parts, I enjoyed All Might. Now, All Might, we've known All Might to be a guy with no weaknesses. Well, okay, apart from his, form weakness and like he can only be in his like massive mode for like 3 hours. But we've known for him to always, hide away from it. Like we've known for him always to overcome the obstacles, even though he's got like heavily injured, he still does the job of a hero. In this episode, we see he's got like he's disadvantaged. Not necessarily disadvantaged, he's got a weakness, and that's in guiding people, and that's in actually teaching people. Because I think it was shown in a couple of episodes before that he said to himself, I need to be able to guide, or need to be able to teach Deku a bit more better, or something like that. And even in this episode, Recovery Girl, she was like to him, you need to be able to actually teach him properly, or like guide him properly. So we're kind of seeing a little bit of weakness to All Might. How All Might, he's never. It seems like he's never been used to this kind of role. Like he's never been in the teacher role. He's never been in like the mentor kind of role. So he's obviously new to this. So it's kind of like a learning curve for him. He needs to be able to teach people and help people grow and know from their failures and their weaknesses and all that kind of stuff. And we saw a bit of it. He tried it in this episode as well. He was doing it to Bakugou, but Bakugou was just like, get off me, and I can't walk and all that kind of stuff. So that was really cool because I think All Might's reaction to Bakugou's his maturity, especially emotional maturity, it was kind of the same of maybe the majority of the viewers whilst watching this episode, because I'm sure that some people must have assumed that Bakugou was going to be salty for this for some time. But no, he washed it away. He was just like, I'm going to be #1. And his rivalry with Deku is used against him. He's using it to make him stronger, to progress, even with Todoroki. Whilst he was seeing Todoroki immobilize everyone, doing it efficiently, doing it quickly and powerfully, Bakugou's just like, I need to be as good as that. Like, I need to get stronger and be better than him if I want to be #1. He needs to be better than All Might as well if he wants to be #1. So we do know that, not just from Deku's end. With Deku, he's disadvantaged, so he's got much more. He's got a high mountain to climb to become #1. With Bakugou, he's kind of he's on the right path. He's got the quirk. He's got the smarts. He's got the strength. All he needs to do is kind of polish his attitude a bit, and he just needs to keep on progressing, keep on training. And he's kind of realised that that's what he needs to do, and he needs to stop looking down on people, especially Deku. So it's kind of opened his eyes on people. Maybe he's too quick for judging people as well. We'll have to find out in the next couple of episodes. But at the end of the episode, we see a villain. Now, I know, obviously I'm a manga, so I don't want to dive in too much into that. I just want to dive into his character design and just the aura that these villains were giving off, because Boku no Hero, man, like, these past 7 episodes it's been a fun ride, it's been awesome, it's been so hype as well. Now with this end of the episode, with the way the villain was talking and the presence he was giving off, especially with his character designs with all hands all over his body and all that kind of stuff, it kind of shows us that in the next couple of episodes we're going to go maybe going down a darker route in the future, what's going to be happening with these villains. Because he said, I can't remember what he said, but he was like, I wonder what will happen if All Might gets killed by villains. So these guys, obviously their main agenda is to kill All Might. Not to damage, not to injure All Might, to actually take his life, to defeat him, to kill him. So this can kind of show us that in the future, in the next couple of episodes, we may be going down a darker route. We may be going down some more deep kind of content. And if it is, I'm just wondering, I'm hoping the censoring, I'm just hoping not much too things get censored. Now, I'm kind of, what's the word? I'm not afraid of censoring, right? Especially with this series right now. Because throughout these past couple of episodes, with obviously Deku using his power, it hasn't really been censored that much. Like, when he was falling down in episode 4 and his arm was flapping like a noodle, like, that wasn't censored. I'm surprised it wasn't censored, because I would have thought that would be. But, if this is going down a deeper route, a darker route, with the presence of these villains, I'm quite, what's the word? I'm not afraid. I'm thinking of the word. If it does go down a darker route in the next couple of episodes, then I'm not afraid that it'll be censored. Judging on how Bones have been with the past 7 episodes, I think we'll be okay. Either way, we've seen a little bit from the opening, so we do know some hype stuff are going to be happening. So next episode, it's going to be lit. It's going to be straight flames. So tell me your thoughts below what you thought about this episode. If you originally disliked Bakugou, has your opinion changed with him right now? Or do you think it's just a learning path, like a learning curve? Do you think Bakugou is going to be molding into a much better character with a nicer personality? Bakugou does kind of give me the Vegeta kind of vibes. Not Sasuke, Vegeta. End of discussion. No similarities and all that kind of stuff to Sasuke and Naruto. Let's brush past that. Either way, tell me thoughts on the Shinigami Sam. I'll see you next week for that greatness that is Boku no Hero Academia, episode 9. Tell me everything what you thought of this episode, what you liked and what you disliked in the comments below. I know a lot of people, some people may be annoyed about flashbacks, especially in the Boku no Hero series, because we did get a lot of flashbacks in that episode, but I really poured out my thoughts upon the flashbacks, and I'm not annoyed about it. So I'll see you next week for that greatness. So subscribe for weekly reviews of Boku no Hero, the anime and the manga, and I'll see you next week for both of that. You know what I'm saying? Goodbye.